Hey, what's up you guys and welcome back. We got a couple of things going on today. Originally, this video, I wanted to just focus on right-hand drive stuff, brake stuff, either pulling everything out, I'm unsure. But before we even get into that, I go to start the car and it won't start. It's turning over. I'm like, this is so weird. I'm like, maybe I'm out of gas. So I didn't even check anything. I just go to the store and I get more gas because I'm in this like panic that I'm gonna run out of gas now with this car because there's no fuel gauge still. Sending unit, whatever. I need to get all that stuff fixed. So, long road ahead of me. Anyways, I go get 5 gallons, put 5 gallons in the car. Still, I can hear the fuel pump. The fuel pump's working. I check for spark, and then I'm like, okay, let's check for fuel. I guess. I know I had fuel, but let's check for fuel. I check for fuel. No fuel's coming out. You can hear the fuel pump. It's working full blast, and nothing's coming out. So I pull fuel, put the fuel line back here. I pull the fuel line off the fuel pump, and no fuel's coming out. It's just literally just trickling out. So I'm like, wonderful. I pull it all the way off. I bang it on the ground a couple times. Maybe it's like clogged up or something. It's got a brand new fuel tank. I mean, I don't know. So put it all back in, nothing. So I got a couple other pumps. I just searched all over my shed. I got a couple in the shed, a couple over here, a couple over there. I came up with 3 fuel pumps. All 3 of them don't work. I don't know what the deal is, but I put some Croil in them. I don't know if that's even a thing, but I tried to make them work, nothing. So I have a brand new Bosch fuel pump from the 944 that I just sold. There was like a little kind of kit in that car. It didn't need a fuel pump, but it was in there. It had like that and like a fuel filter and stuff like that. What's up, Max? So I just, whatever, I forgot to give it to the guy, and I don't, there's no reason for me to ever need a fuel pump, but I just, whatever, I should have just given it to him, but I forgot that it was in my garage when I was cleaning the car out. So anyways, it comes in handy so I can use it today. However, I got to get a banjo fitting for it because the thread pitch is different than the one that I have. So we're going to go get that started and then come back and get on this right-hand drive stuff in hopes that this new fuel pump works. So here we go.
Guys, quick brake line story. I gotta tell you guys a story. It's my brake line guy. He used to come to my house. He's got this van with this crimping tool in it. It's awesome. He's done like CIS lines for me, you know, a bunch of brake lines and fuel lines and stuff like that. Really nice lines though, not just like your regular lines. He'll make some really nice stainless steel braided lines. So you come to my house and do all this stuff for me. It was reasonably priced, especially for somebody that's coming to your house and doing custom work. It was awesome. So I call him up. It's been like 2 years since I talked to him. He's an older guy. He's in his late 60s. He should be retiring soon. And he's like, he's just a fun guy to be around. I always love, you know, shooting the breeze with him. So I call him up and I'm like, hey, you know, can you come by the house? And he goes, nope, don't do house calls anymore. I'm like, hey, you been to my house before? It's Joe. And he goes, who? And I'm like, it's Joe. And he goes, I got a new phone. And I'm like, it's Joe, the Porsche and Volkswagens. He goes, nope, gonna have to come to the shop. And I'm like, all right, this dude's acting kind of crazy, but it's all good. Not crazy, but like acting like short with me. And I'm like, dude, what's up with that? So I go to the shop and I'm like, hey, what's up? You know, he goes, oh, Joe, what's up? And he's like, oh, we're boys again. We're dapping it up and everything, hugging it out. And I'm like, you know, everything's cool. I'm like, what's up with no house calls? I thought you were making good money doing that. And he goes like, yeah, I used to do a ton of, did great money. He goes, last time I did a house call, it was in the ghetto, some questionable people. And I'm at this kind of a shabbier house. And he goes, yeah, there's this car. It looks like this guy had $100,000 into this car. It's like a 1,500 horsepower drag car. I'm sitting there, I'm doing like really nice lines for this guy, you know, brake lines and fuel lines. And I've been there all day and I'm on my hands and knees working on this guy's car. All of a sudden, 15 cars come up, bunch of undercover police. And they're like, get on the ground, get on the ground. They arrested everybody in the house, including my guy, the brake line guy. So he gets roughed up and he's just like the sweetest old man you could ever ask. He's just a really genuinely nice person and old school, you know, he's a good dude. But they slam him on the ground, they rough him all up, his face is all getting banged up. This is on a Friday afternoon. They lock him up for the weekend and he goes, dude, I thought my wife was gonna die from stress. And I was like, I get it. If this happened to me and I had to explain to my girl that I got locked up for being at the wrong place at the wrong time, she would, a million things were going through her head. She's like, what's my, you know, guy into, da 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 da. And you know, and I'm over here just like, wrong place at the wrong time, sorry, you know, and I just can't imagine the stress. So he goes, yeah, no, I don't do it anymore. I don't want to put her through that again. And I was like, I get it, dude, I get it. So, but anyways, let's get back to it.
Hey guys, real quick, anybody that knows me knows that I love tire shine. So this company, Shine Armor, sent me their graphene tire shine to try out on one of my cars. This is a no sling tire shine, meaning when you apply it correctly, it's not gonna get all over your nice paint. So this car's got brand new tires on it. Let's try it out on these.
Step number 1, set it up before you wet it up. Clean them tires, baby. Step number 2, spray them down and don't be bashful with it, because if it ain't dripping, you tripping, playboy. Step number 3, massage it into them cracks, because you already know it look better when it's wetter. Step number 4, before you head out the door, wipe off the excess so you're looking your bestest.
No, but guys, in all seriousness, I do really like this tire shine. It's going to save me a bunch of time not having to apply it every single time I wash my car. It's going to be a huge time saver here, especially during pollen season here in New England. I'm not going to have tire shine with pollen stuck to it all over the side of my car. That's huge. If you guys are interested in this, use code GTIJOE, hit the link in the description, save yourself a couple of dollars, and check out their other products as well. They got some pretty good ones. Let's get back to it.
All right, so this fuel pump is for a 944. And this fitting is not necessary for what I'm using it for. So this is what we made. Very simple, just a banjo fitting. But I needed a 90 on this because I'm having a lot of trouble fitting the fuel line in the car. And I just have it all zip tied in there. It's very ghetto. So I asked one of my buddies, Rooster on the Hill, what he runs, and he goes, dude, just a factory basket. I'm like, oh, all right, cool. So I'm going to be looking for a factory basket to throw this back up in there, or maybe just make my own and, you know, out of something stainless steel or something like that. And just with a, you know, a clamp around it, nice firm. All right. New fuel pumps in. I can't hear it. I'm grabbing the wrong wire here. Oh yeah. I'm hearing new sounds. I don't know if I like that. Yeah, I gotta get a battery box. I'm like a little bit nervous to do this. I want fuel spilling out all over my garage. I mean, so far so good. Don't worry about that. Good enough. You want to rev your motor to the moon as soon as you start it. It's good for it. Let's fix the throttle. So because I mounted the intake like basically like this rather than having it come out and over and then bend this way, I've got it kind of hot air intake right on top of the transmission. Real nice. But yeah, we'll finish that up at another time. So my issue is now, dang, I only started it for like 5 seconds and it was a little warm. My issue is now is that's how it's running. Don't love it. So I'm thinking I gotta make, because this needs to be like pulled like just a hair like that. And it just isn't working with the stock adjuster that they give you with the pin. You slide the pin in and you set your idle. So I could either fix it down there or try to fix it up here and make it look a little bit better. And I think this is gonna be my plan, is to try to move this stuff around. I'd like to make this look a little better. So let's see what I can come up with. So we're just gonna start this to see where it idles at, if it even will idle right or not. First test. All right, guys, so I'm not super proud of this setup, but it does work. The brakes are mounted really like sturdy. It was a lot of like trying to figure out exactly where they needed to be, and it just actually did take me a long time because I'm balancing a lot of things. I'm holding things, trying to weld them. The only issue I'm having really is the steering column is like hitting down here. It's like hitting the gas pedal, like if it shifts out too much. And I had like I tried to use the factory steering column like bracket to hold it in. It has basically like a spring plate that fits in here and a little clip that holds it in place with a piece of plastic that goes around it. So I'm thinking that, and I have this floating, so you could unbolt like all of this stuff and come down. But if I weld the steering column in, you won't be able to, like, this piece doesn't unbolt. So I think I'm gonna cut these and cut this and then try to make it so that I could bolt it into like the brake bolt bracketry. I'm gonna put some lock washers on this as well. But I wanna be able to unbolt all of this. and so if it's easier to work on. So that's the plan. Bent this thing up real quick, made it a little too long, so I had to trim it in the middle and weld it back together. But all right, cool, we got it mounted in. It's angled good. I like how it kind of steps down. I kind of made it so it stepped down off of this stuff. I was having a little bit of an issue with, you know, if it was just straight across, it wouldn't have made it, so it would have been, you know, too far away. So I like where it's sitting. There's still some adjustability here that I might mess around with. I might, you know, turn it down a little bit more. Most likely I will. I'm not really sure though, but see how it's like the gas pedal. Now you try to push the gas pedal, you can't, stuff like that. So, and I gotta move this gas pedal over. It's all just super janky right now. But for right now, I am liking this. So I might give it a little tack and then take it out and do like some L brackets off of this, something like this. You know, something I can put like that on both sides so that it's really in there nice and sturdy. And then if I ever do need to pull the steering column, 2 bolts, and it's out. So that'd be cool. So let's keep it pushing. Threw a tack on it. My mask ran out of batteries, so kind of an ugly tack, but I'm doing the old closing the eye deal there. But yeah, she's dropped down right now. So these go up here, and then now I'll have these two going through the brakes and everything. So everything's together as one, but can be disassembled into multiple parts for ease of being able to work on and bleed brakes and all that stuff. So really excited about that. I'm gonna put some, like, you know, some bracing in here on both sides so that it's a good mount, and throw it all back together. Here we go. So I pulled the old bracket off from down in here, and I'm gonna move it to here, and then just try to make the gas pedal work with this original equipment here. See what I can do.
Grabbed some round stock bar and welded it to the original Rabbit equipment, then welded that to the firewall. I would have grabbed a Willwood gas pedal and just welded everything up or added to what I had, but I would have done a lot of cutting to the car because of how the fender protrudes into the floors. You can see I'm holding my battery for my welding mask in my hand there because I'm trying to warm it up because it keeps dying. It's negative 10 degrees Fahrenheit outside. It's about 50 degrees in my garage. I reused my Rabbit gas pedal cover there and welded it to the bar, trying to make, you know, recycle some parts, but came out decent. Okay guys, looking good. Got all 3 pedals mounted up, symmetrical, even, feels really nice. The placement's really good. I'm just really happy with how this came out. I was originally going to yank everything out, but how I had the brakes set up was good, and that took me a long time, so I really just needed to fix steering column and gas pedal, and I'm really happy with how it came out. I've seen a bunch of other variations, but this is kind of my favorite so far, just for ease for me. Came out pretty decent. I put a little stopper on the gas pedal here so it hits the floorboard. You can see it, so I'm not bending the linkage on my throttle body, so that'll be really nice. But also I need to finish up all this wiring. I've got the bracket to hold my relay and all that, but this was mounted on the right hand side, so now I'm going to mount this on the left hand side. However, I mounted the Mark III ECU up here, so I may run this in the center, right up underneath. The only downfall to running it underneath is I have the heater hole, so that's my favorite position for this, but when it rains, water just comes right in. So I'm not sure. I like that it is open. I like that it's OEM look, and I don't like when people make, like, shave the engine bay, they just put like a plate over that. So I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do. Maybe I'll make like a little rain shield over the ECU or something like that, so you can still, I don't know, I'm weird about this stuff. So we'll see what I come up with that. Maybe I'll continue to run it over here, but you'll be able to see it a little bit. However, my entire car is a huge rot hole, so we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, the wiring needs to be tidied up. All right, guys, so 2 huge goals for this car for me for this season is, 3. Get it on the road, first of all. But first main goal is to get a Massachusetts State inspection sticker. It's really hard to get a sticker in Mass, especially for a car like this. So rust is okay, rot is not okay. That's why I've been replacing all the rotted out spots with like OEM, patch panels and stuff. I've been cutting things out and putting things in. So I have almost all the rot taken care of. There's a couple of little spots, but I think I'll probably get a pass. But if I don't, I'll just take it home, weld it up, and bring it back and be like, give me the sticker. So that's my huge goal, is to get a a Massachusetts state inspection sticker. Secondly is to get this car on the track, and that's like a big goal of mine. I've never taken a car on the track before. I've taken a car to like Lebanon Valley, to the drag races. And I'd like to bring this thing out there and get this thing on the track and see what it does. But I want to bring it to Palmer Racetrack. I see a lot of my buddies go, the Ransom Garage boys, they go all the time. Like every weekend they're out at the track. And I'm like, man, I'm missing out on so much fun. I know there's a lot of things that I'm going to need to do to this car to get it track ready, track worthy. But I think it'd be fun to just get out there and give it a go. I'd just take it out there basically like this. But I know that I'll do, terrible times and all that. I get it. I want to get, different wheel and tire setup, some better tires on it, maybe some 15s on it. I'd really like a set of BBS RSs for this car. I know that's, a little bit, what everybody always runs, but that's my favorite wheel. And I think that's the wheel that should be on this car. So I'm going to be looking for a set of those. And I got to go through the brakes. I got all new brakes on it. I just need to plumb for brake lines and get all of that, set away. But those are my huge goals. So if you guys have any advice for me for getting this thing on the track, please, chime in. I'd like to hear it. And, I'd like to see your guys' track cars too. So if you guys are on Instagram or anything like that, I'm GTIJOE on Instagram as well. So tag me in your track cars, because I want to get this thing out there this season. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. If you're watching this far, it means a lot. So thanks a lot.